everything with love? What if I hurt? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind accepted everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. Oh, Mother, Father, Spirit, guide us from above. Our sons and daughters look to us to show them love. Come, sisters, brothers, let's hold hands and sing as one, that we will be what we've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? Love. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I hurt? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? I said, what if I looked around at everything with love?
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcast on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Let me hit play. I am, oh wait a minute, I am playing, okay, I am.
Can you hear yourself now?
No. Was the mic on? There we go. Thank you.
It just takes a very talented sound tech to fix
To
our
remember that.
Thank you, Trina.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning all.
Good morning, people.
Yeah,
People of my kingdom.
right, you're loud.
No one's ever said that to me.
I know, right?
I know. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning,
birthday
Peter
girl.
of my kingdom. It says birthday queen.
Oh, sorry,
It
birthday
says birthday
queen.
queen. Notice I'm wearing my birthday crown.
Yes.
So those of you in my kingdom, welcome today.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Happy birthday.
You spoiled me with my crown and
Yes,
my
yes.
queendom.
That's right. We
I love it.
both now have crowns and sashes.
Yeah, look out. Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry.
We know the waves too.
And then, I'm not going to hold my mic, so hold on a
Oh,
second.
hang on. There we go.
And then, because we've been taking belly dancing, she got me my belly dancing skirt. I wanted the pink one.
There we
Look
go.
at how it shimmies.
It shimmies and sparkles,
Notice
but it
how
doesn't
said it
make
shimmies.
noise.
Yeah, it shimmies.
It shimmies because
I'm
we're
not
still working
shimmying
on
yet,
shimmy.
but it makes it look like I
That's
know what I'm
right.
doing.
Yeah, don't worry. You will never experience that here on the sofa.
Yeah, we will not be bringing belly dancing to the sofa, but it's
Right.
something fun that we are doing.
Yes.
Last month was all about health and wellness.
Mhm.
And so Jeannie had this idea of trying that, and I jumped in and said, yeah,
Yes.
you know. So
And
just
it-
things.
And we both have realized it's a heck of a workout.
Yeah, it's not
Wow.
just some fun, fluffy thing.
No.
There's a science to it.
Yes.
To the music, to the movements, and your body's feeling it, and yeah.
And we absolutely, I just want to give a shout out to Maheen at One World Dance and Music on, I believe it's 3rd Street, 3rd and Osborne, One World Dance Music. And
What a great instructor.
yes, Maheen is awesome.
So talented. She doesn't make you feel like you're, I hate this word, but stupid, or that you don't know
Right.
what you're doing, that you're not coordinating. She just,
Right,
so
because
good.
I feel all of those things, and when I voice it, Maheen is so kind,
yes.
so compassionate, points out all the great things that I am doing, and I just love it.
She's really
Yes.
a good teacher.
She
I
really
really
is.
appreciate you finding her, and I like her energy. I just think she's probably a really great person.
Yes.
Also, like, just her demeanor, everything about her. So,
Yeah.
if you've been ever wanting to take a class like that, I think there's other types of classes too that they're teaching.
There is, Maheen teaches the belly dancing
Okay.
classes there, but I believe that we also saw that they had an adult contemporary class that happens
Okay.
right before us.
Yeah.
And then she has that drumming and music right after on Saturdays. And there's a couple of times a week. And if you are somebody who doesn't want to do it in person, she also offers it on Zoom at the same time. So
nice.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I do too. And part of health and wellness is movement. Like, we need to be moving our bodies. And one of the big concerns I know my husband and I have about, especially our young people in our house, is the lack of movement. And I know True's like, but I've been doing football, Mom. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're excluded for this moment. But they tend to lay around a lot this generation, and movement is so important. And so it kind of makes you realize it's important for me too. And especially that I do go to the gym most days for an hour out of the whole day, you know. But even taking this belly dancing, there are parts of the body that are stiff from sitting, stiff from not being used and moved, and it's like, so try to find something that gets that movement going. I mean, that's our bodies need that. So
Yes,
find something
absolutely.
fun that even though it's a workout, and sometimes at like 12:15, I'm like, how much longer?
12:15. At 5 to 12 yesterday, I was like, okay, only 35 minutes to go.
Yes. And then we love it at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
find something like that that's
Yeah.
working your body, but you're loving it enough to continue.
Exactly.
We need it. So that was my little plug.
There we
And,
go. We gave our little plug for
offering
Maheen
advice.
and One World Dance and Music. And today we're located the same place we're always located.
But in case you don't know,
That is the Unleash Your Life Studios here in Phoenix, Arizona at 7220 North 16th Street. And that is between Northern and Glendale, right off the 51. We're conveniently located. So come on down and see us. You always have time to get here. And for those not in Phoenix area who cannot make it, or maybe perhaps you are, and you watch us later, we're also on Monday nights on the New Thought Media Network at 7 p.m. So we appreciate all of you, whether you're here in person or you're online and TV land.
watching us, so yeah, and we rebroadcast this scene. We're not doing a new.
No,
So
it's a
it's
rebroadcast of this at 7 p.m.
We're really grateful that they do that for us, because not everybody can. Some people work on Sundays. They're not all, you know. And Evie, you missed that. That welcome to my queendom.
Yeah, it's her queendom.
My queendom today.
No, Wednesday.
Oh, I thought it was tomorrow. Right, but it's my birthday
Okay,
month.
almost. It's her birthday.
I only share it with my husband and the twins.
Right. Yeah. Other than that,
How did that happen?
other
My
that's
mom.
right. I forgot the twins.
The twinsters
What
are
did
coming
they do?
up. We'll be 15.
Lord
Girl,
have mercy.
15 on the 25th.
And the 20th.
Yeah, I went out to dinner on my birthday, pregnant, as you know,
Yeah.
what was it, 6 months pregnant with them, and I ate something really spicy.
6 months.
I was 6 months
Oh,
pregnant.
they were early.
6 months, maybe 7 months. What was it? 31 weeks. I was
Okay.
31 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
Or 30 weeks pregnant, and I went home and I started having little funny contractions, you know, but you do that, and plus I was carrying twins, so that was to be
Right.
expected, whatever, and they just weren't stopping, and then I found myself in the hospital, and they tried to stop it, you know, but
Right.
they were
Pitocin.
insistent on coming now, so, yeah, they were supposed to be November babies.
Wow.
They were instead
Yeah.
September babies.
Yeah, there they. I think he ignores us most days.
He knows
So,
what we're talking about. So
but he does.
"Oh, no,
Yes.
no, no."
And that's a beautiful shade of red you're wearing, sir, on your cheeks. Anyway.
All right, so I'm gonna become Reverend Dr. Michelle now.
Right, you're gonna take on your
So
queendom.
thank you, my subjects, for
There you go.
being here for my everything.
All right, shall I pray us in?
I would love that.
Okay.
Especially for the week we've had.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Okay, if you will. Ding the gong.
Oh yes, I was getting myself prepared, switching my. Okay, here we go.
So let's just let go of everything prior to this now moment. And in this space, this knowing that is the divine presence, that is God, that is the universal life force, that is us. This being that has its life, breath, heartbeat in, as, and through us, each of us, as an expression of the divine. I speak my word into the wall for the highest and best good of this time together. This knowing that each person here present and beyond is blessed, is filled and with the knowing of the divine presence that is them. And in this knowing that each and every soul is God, I speak my word for each person, each leader, each teacher of all countries and all faiths, everywhere, knowing that they are divinely guided, guarded, and protected. That they are protected in every way, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. That each are guided to speak their truth. And that in that truth, they are cared for. That their knowing and their presence is blessed. And for each and every soul this week that lost this physical presence of life, whether they were in politics or in school, may the human compassion of our hearts be enriched with the knowing that all souls are blessed, that all life is precious, and that we give thanks for this life that we are, this life that is God in form. And for this I am so very grateful that I let it go into the wall that only says yes. And in faith, truth, and trust, I say thank you. And together we say, and so it is.
Whew, okay.
Yeah. It was a rough week.
It was a rough week.
You
Especially
know,
with our theme of peace and harmony.
Walking in peace and harmony. For those of us who spend some time on social media, I don't feel it was very peaceful or harmonic.
Right.
That's the reason I don't. Yeah,
Right.
for those who don't go on social media. But yeah, I am a social media person, and you know, I spent a lot of time seeing the world through different perspectives this week. Going from one extreme to the other extreme, and everything in between. And what I know to be the truth is what we were talking about earlier today about the presence of the divine. The whole purpose of life is to be God in form.
Right.
That's why we're here. And regardless of what you think of that particular form of God, they are still God. I'm a big fan of saying we're all a part of God, and some people are God's armpit.
Oh my goodness.
And actually, I use more colorful language, but we're online. So,
Oh yes, yes.
you know, so walking. Let me go back to our topic here real quick. I walk in the peace of knowing my true self, and I say that my true self is God in form. I am God informed. You are God informed. We are God informed. God created the heavens and the earth out of the only thing that was existence.
Only one.
Only
There's
one.
thing.
God. God stuff. Everything you see, feel, hear, touch, believe is God stuff.
I agree. And I think that you can say that for me and you and you and anybody else, but you have to say it for everyone.
Yes.
You can't say it's this but not that, this person not that person, but this person's doing this, so it can't be that person. It's actually all of us.
Right. There is no duality in God.
There's no duality.
Right. There's
It's
not God
for me, it's the same for you. And so that's hard to accept sometimes.
Oh.
It's hard to be okay with that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, especially when they want to, well, it feels like, I can't speak for what they're doing, with whoever they are, but it feels like there's a separateness that's trying to take hold. And the truth is that we cannot be separated, that there is only one thing happening here. So that is all just a lie. Right. It is all not true. There's only one thing. We can get far away from our truth. We can forget our truth. We can, make moves from, like we talk about all the time, future and past thinking, which is, not moving from our truth and our being. Right. And so it can feel like we are not the same, we are not connected, or we are not one, but we are. And, Martin Luther King saying that hate can't drive out hate, only love can do that. When we are connected to Source, when we are remembering our truth, there's only one move to make, and that's in love. When we move in hate, or we feel hate, or we, wish hate, or whatever that all is, that is not coming from our truth.
Right.
That is a forgetfulness that this human experience has a lot of.
So I was reading in several different Ernest Holmes readings this morning, between the Science of Mind text and this lovely book that, and I keep messing up this word, Ernest Holmes at Asilomore. Okay, I got it. Letters and Classes from the 1950s. I adore this book. Also, there's a tiny book that is called Can We Talk to God by Ernest Holmes. So in my morning meditations and readings, I was in this and I was feeling it, and there was this reading, and I wish I had written it down because I didn't. I wrote down the things I expected to say, so of course I won't tell you anything about them today. The ones I didn't expect to say, right, I didn't write down. But it talked about all the deities, like how we talk about the different gods, right, that people worship throughout the world. Whether you're, Judeo-Christian, or you're Buddhist, or, I'm looking for religions here. Maybe you're pagan, Muslim, you're a practicing, right, if you're Jewish. So Judeo-Christians, even Muslims, right, we all have kind of the same Godhead, right? But there are different, Hindus do not. There are different religions throughout the world that do not share the same Godhead or context textbook as the Bible, whether they call it the Quran or the Old Testament is just its own book and stuff. So I say that for two reasons. One, the quote I read was that in all of the deities that are around and that people worship, the true thing in that is that there is something higher than the individual. Even if you are an atheist or agnostic, the collective is higher than the individual. So looking at that we have a higher power, a higher source energy that is, whether it's universal love or divine guidance, however you look at that. And then the other one is, if you haven't seen the Australian commercial for lamb, the meat we can all agree on, I highly recommend you Google this, okay? Because it is all the gods and deities and stuff. And there's like the first one, Zeus says to Jesus, "Where's your dad?" And Jesus says, "He's everywhere." And Zeus gives him a look and he goes, "I'm sorry, he's working." So it's a funny commercial, but it really brings out the different types of presents that people think about, and that how everybody agrees on lamb. It's not restricted. So there you go. Unless you're a vegetarian. So there you go.
And that's what you drop on my lap.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go. Go from
Take
there.
It from here. Take it from here, Michelle. Oh my gosh, she is so funny. Yeah, there's still just, I would think, even with multiple ways, we always say it doesn't matter which way you come to God or you connect with God. But that doesn't matter. That's everyone's individual path. That's every human experience's individual path. But we all, even for an atheist to say, "I don't believe in God," you're still saying there's something
You're
not
still
believing
acknowledging
in.
something that you're
That
you're not believing in.
So there's definitely, and most of them would still say there's some kind of an energy. There's I would think they're talking about the God of the Christian father type of a God,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's just one thing going on, and we're all a part of that. We're all made of that. It's all breathing in us and through us, and it's and because we're not, we talk about it being the ocean, and we're a little droplet out of the ocean. A little droplet doesn't see the whole ocean, and it doesn't understand what's in all of the ocean. It only understands the little droplet that it's in, and whatever fish move through it, and whatever it is a part of. Right?
It's experiencing.
But
yeah.
it's still, you pull that little drop out and you put it under a microscope, it still has all the same attributes as that ocean does. It still is created from the whole. And so I think that is one of my favorite ways to understand what we are trying to say, is that we are all from the same source in our own unique, manifestation, our own unique, perfect expression of God. And so when you've got these things that are happening in the world and you're trying to make sense of it, and I don't know, sometimes there's no sense to be made.
Right.
Sometimes it's just, I have to have faith in that there's only one thing going on, and it's God. I can't see the whole thing. I don't understand the whole thing. But like I said, I think last week, maybe the week before, that I just have to go to my superpower, which is I pray. And I put my energy toward what I want to be experiencing, what I want to be creating. That's what I put out there. I'm not going to succumb to the hatred talk and the negativity, and I'm not going to give names. I'm not going to put that there, my power there. I don't want any more of that. Yes, I hear the news. My husband makes sure I know what's going on. So I know what's happening because he tells me, and it's upsetting to him because it's upsetting to a lot of people to see this negativity and to look. And my husband was trying a different church this morning, so I went with him to support him in that. And that pastor said that when you're in this human experience, he doesn't say it like that, but I translate for him, but when you're in the human experience and you're looking at the world this way, you're going to see all of that. You're going to see all that discord and that ugly, all the negativity and whatever. And humans tend to do that. We tend to forget to look at all the good that's there too. And I wanted to correct him. He said the world is a horror. What do you say? A horrifying and two negative words. And I thought, well, and it's also beautiful and harmonious. And so it just depends on which side of the world you want to look at. But yes, this last week was had a lot of ugly things to see. But he said when you look through it through faith, through your belief and through faith, you see it differently because you're seeing it through that lens, not just what's here. So I think that's why when I look across the world, I see the beautiful things and I see the smiles I get from people and I see the hugs I got from children this week and I see the connection I have with my husband. I see our hug this morning or how we talk, or I see that. I don't just only see the negative.
Right. I was going to say, in addition to.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is what helps have some balance when the world feels out of balance.
Right.
is that when we recognize, in addition to the, pardon my French here, crap or crappé,
You could use this shit word.
I could use the shit word. Okay, when the world looks like that,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, how do I come at this in a way that brings compassion and love to others? Because that's my job. That's,
Say it again.
how do I come at this to bring compassion and love to others? Because that's my job, right? And that is my job, whether there is strife in the world or not, right? Sometimes there's strife inside me. I was talking to Reverend Jen Dickey about how sometimes I get overwhelmed by external things that are inside my world, not external. You know what I mean? Like inside my world, and I get like overstimulated. And so if I get overstimulated, sometimes I'm short in my responses. So learning that in myself, okay, I'm overstimulated. I need compassion and love for me and for the person I'm going to respond to. This is what I'm here for, right? This expansiveness of life is about this learning what works and doesn't work, and what feels good to me and what doesn't feel good to me, and what I can bring and what I can receive.
Right, I agree with that. And where you were saying this is our job, one of the messages this morning was that, and I felt that pastor did a really great job in moving through what has happened this week. But one of the things that he was talking about was that their job as Christians was to get out there and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, and to and you don't just spread the gospel to everyone else that believes that. You spread, you're trying to speak the good word to anybody, helping in a positive way, not this negativity. So I appreciate the positive messaging. And what I take from that is, in my mind, I'm not spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm an example, right? I'm an example of the Christ life that's within me. And so every move I make now, especially being married, all this race stuff. So I'm married to a black man. I have mixed children. I have an older son who is white, who's not mixed, but I have 3 mixed children, and all this race stuff that comes around, whatever, and all this, there's so much stuff I could be upset about, and I could speak about and speak to and point out. But then what do I believe? How do I feel? What do I believe? And what do I want to see more of in the world? So my example and the way that I embody what I believe is really important. That's the prayer work, and those are where you have an ability to do something about what you are seeing in the world. You don't like it, you want something different, you want to change in course. We're all contributing to this collective. So if you're, not that I'm ever saying to bypass that you're angry or upset, I'm never saying that. And what I am saying is that what are you doing about it? Are you then getting on social media and saying ugly, angry things and pointing fingers at this group or that group or whatever? Are you, driving down the road and angry and doing this or that? Or are you spreading messages of love? Are you leading from the truth that we are all one? That we are coming from the same source, and maybe some of us have forgotten that or have never been told that and just don't know. So where are you coming from in your movements, and what you're being an example of, and how you're speaking and how you're talking? Because I know it feels like you're one person, and what can I do? But if you think that way, then you also believe in separation, and you don't realize who you are. You also don't really understand the truth, and the truth is that I'm in a human expression. So yes, I'm this person in human expression, but I'm still part of the whole. And everything I do affects that whole because I'm a part of that whole. I am not separate. Every move I make affects it. So I have that. I have the power and ability to put good, to put more love, to put more of what I want to see. And I think that can be very comforting when these things happen.
Right. And to that point, when we see or we point out all the negative things in the world, right? And looking at that and say, well, there's violence here, and there's negativity here, and there's race riot here, and there's gun issues here, and and I'm not saying that there's not. That stuff is there. Yeah, it's little R reality. I get it.
Right.
These are experiences that we're having as a collective whole, right? This is not separated out by your belief system, by your political system, by where you live in the United States or even the world, right? We all are experiencing these things, and they're things. They're things that are happening outside of our collective, I want to say consciousness, but that's not the word I'm looking for. This is something that's happening outside of our, body as a manifestation of the thought processes that as a collective we've been holding. We've all been holding these things, right? So my big example always, I go back to driving, right? I go back to road rage, and the truth is that I don't really have a ton of road rage. I just think about it because it's a innocuous example of how people get, right?
Yes.
Like if I went to specifics about what happened this past week and the people involved and stuff, people would get up in arms and defend or attack on either thing. But when I talk about road rage, we all seem to have a little twinge of knowing what that is.
Yes.
When somebody cuts us off, when somebody crosses the gore, when somebody can't speed up to get on a highway. I mean, we all read the instruction manual when we got our license, okay? Like, we all know what we're supposed to be doing. And so then we get angry, right? And my partner and I over the summer had a lot of driving experience. We actually, Dakota drove a lot while I sat in the passenger side because I was still recovering after my knee surgery. So there was a lot of time on the road where all of these things happened. And sometimes we got very angry, and said bad words, maybe even gave a sign or two. And then I got to the point where I was like, well, wait a minute. Do I really want this energy out on the road that we're traveling on? No, I don't want that out there. So I get the initial response to be angry about something and to be upset and to say bad things and to get all that, right? I get that, right? But I don't want to add that. What I want to add is compassion and love. What I want to be is understanding, even if I don't understand. I want to seek to understand, even if I don't get it, even if I don't agree, even if I wouldn't do it that way. And so it came to a thing when these things would happen, I'd be like, I started out a little Southern, oh, bless you. And I didn't mean it in a blessed way. And then I started to mean it in a blessing way. Like, I don't know what's happening with you, but sending you blessings, sending you love. And I see that today in this time period. Michelle and I talked a little bit beforehand and expressed where we were, right? That has nothing to do with what we're bringing to the world. We have to do our inner work as individuals and know. And for us as ministers, that's prayer and meditation. That's compassion and love. For some, that might be protesting. For some others, that might be letter writing. For some others, that might be joining organizations that match your energy to bring that, if that's what you wish to see more of in the world. Right? But what it definitely isn't is time to stick our head in the sand. This collectiveness of what is happening in the world at this time period is for all of us, both sides of the aisles, to know and affirm that there is only one. There is only one. There is only one thing happening. And what you put out is what you are creating in this world. So make sure what you're putting out there is what you want. I want to be understood. I want to feel love. I want to experience compassion. So because of that, those are qualities of the divine I want to give. I don't want to be angry on the road. I want to give that space. And if that means slowing down and allowing someone else to go ahead of me, then so be it.
I love that. I love that you were saying like what you want to experience. Just like I want to be safe to have my own opinion. I want to be safe to love who I want to love. I want to be safe to express what I need to express. And so if I want that, then I have to be okay with other people being safe to love who they want to love, being safe to express what they want to express, being safe, I have to allow for that also. And sometimes it's hard when they're saying things that are directly against maybe somebody I love or a belief that I have or something I stand for. But it must be both sides. So you have to not be divided, but try to understand or try to have compassion or have grace or just understand everybody's got their own filters and their own upbringing and their own whatevers are important to them. Sometimes your cause, something that's important to you, is not important to somebody else. They have something else that's more important to them, and it trumps your thing. And they're over here doing this, and you're over here like, why aren't you?
And anybody who's ever lived in an HOA understands that.
That's right. That's right. For real. I just, when I see a week like this, and then I see these responses on the internet, and I see the jumping to conclusion. This is what my husband gets so upset about, the jumping to conclusions and the pointing fingers and people being so angry at the hate, but they're being hateful themselves. It's like, I think about people like Gandhi who stood for something, but he wasn't going to be like the people that he was standing against. He wasn't going to do the same. Like, how am I better than you then?
And I love that you brought Gandhi up.
Or how am I bring a different change if I'm doing the same things you're doing?
What we learned after our mentor went to India in a Gandhi retreat was that it took him 15 years to be willing to be that person that they identified as representing the peace, because he wasn't there yet. And wow, and that was for him, not them. They wanted him right away, right? We want you to be the face of the nation here and to do this and to do that. But it took him 15 years to be okay inside of him for that. And and there's our work.
Well, you have to know. He had to know it was going to be hard and scary, and he probably had to come to terms with what would that look like. What could I do? I don't have any idea. I'm just guessing. But if someone gave me, I want you to be the leader of this, and we want change, we need something different, we need somebody. Well, what could I bring to the table that's going to create something different? That's going to make a change? What could I do that's going to stop all this hate or anger or awful things happening? What could I do? And probably the only thing that he could do is nothing.
Right.
I'm going to sit in peace and gratitude and nothing. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to give them that energy back, because all that's doing is creating, and that's why Martin Luther King's saying is timeless, where he says, the hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. You can't drive out hate with more hate.
No. Right.
You are making the same thing that you don't want. It's just this constant circle. And it's easy to get caught up in it. It's so easy.
And I really like Martin Luther King's point of view. I think part of the problem is that many world leaders, and I shall not mention names, are so driven by their own opinion is the only one that matters, that they just foment more hate and even on social media, I bet I would be willing to bet there are far more people in the world by millions that are more centered on love and acceptance, and everybody should have their own way of living, etc., than there are to go on to social media and follow leaders that make these strong statements. If we have more leaders that have the Martin Luther King or the Gandhi sort of outlook, I think the world would be a much better place. Unfortunately, we don't right now, but maybe we will someday.
And that's something to keep praying on. That's something to keep fighting for. That's something to work for. Is that message? And I think part of the issue is that when we cut each other off with being angry or you're over there and I'm over here, we're not talking to each other. So I don't even know that I might feel the same way you do about it. What we're doing may look different, but we might be doing it for the same reasons. And if we could communicate and talk it through, my husband was on Instagram with somebody that he knows. When my husband posted something, he was upset about what had happened, and then he posted his thoughts on that. He started getting a lot of response, and got a response from somebody he knows from before. And it was they had a kind exchange, but they weren't able to really see eye to eye. And I said, babe, over text, I don't think that's going, but let her know that if she would like, if we could sit down and actually have a conversation, I think that could happen to where there could be an understanding, but I don't think that's going to happen going back and forth on a text. And so we offered that. And I think that's part of the issue. When I was a kid, we called, I hate this term, but we used to call it picking brains. Did you ever call it? I got to pick
Let
your
me
brain.
pick your brain.
Pick your
Yeah.
brain on something. Hey, can I pick your
Yeah.
brain on something? And then this conversation would come out, and I remember friends and I doing that, talking about something that had happened, and we might not have seen eye to eye, but we talked about it, and it was so interesting to hear what someone else thought, and there was no judgment, no one got upset. You walked away from that conversation not in full alignment and agreement. It was just like, oh, really? Okay, interesting. But we talked, and I feel like it's a scary place to talk sometimes because you get unfriended, you get hate, you get someone might kill you.
I was going to say,
Like, stuff happens, like,
it is
can't we
beyond
talk?
scary today because, your freedoms are at stake,
Right,
including your life.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Kirk may not have been in alignment with people, but he wanted to talk about it. Prove me wrong. Like, come up here, come on here, let's have a conversation. And to him, he was trying to spread what he believed, right? But you were welcome to come have a conversation back and come back with it. Come back with it, do it. I at least like that. I like that. I want to have a conversation. I think we've lost that, and that's a big problem because sometimes we do have the exact same goal in mind.
Sure.
We have the exact same wants and needs and desires, but we're just going about it different ways.
And here's the problem. We don't even know that the person who killed him for political reasons. He may not just have liked the way he looked. He may have run over him cut in front of him in the street. So we're rushing to judgment.
We don't know.
Because certain world leaders just start pointing fingers and labeling people. And it just drives me crazy. It's like, why are we just assuming this is true until we know? And even once we know, okay, that was one guy's opinion. It wasn't there were 1,000 people out there with a gun pointing it at him.
Right.
So to say that everybody who is on a certain spectrum of the right versus left would go out and assassinate him for various reasons is just wrong.
Right.
And so, for all we know, he could have been just mentally ill and thought, well, I don't like the way this guy looks.
Yeah, people hear voices, and voices tell them to do the awful things. I mean, who knows? We don't know. I agree. I don't like being grouped with any group.
Right.
I don't like when women feel like this way. No,
right.
No, don't group me with other women. You don't know how I feel about that. Or white people, this and that. I don't like that terminology.
It's labeling.
Yeah, I don't like that. Black people this, white people this, Latino. No, because within every group you've got a whole spectrum of people that feel this way. Religious sign. I mean, everybody. Gene and I don't believe the exact same things on every issue, but we talk about it and we share about it, and that's the only way I'm going to be enlightened, or my view might grow, or maybe hurt. Like that's the only way. We just understanding,
right? Compassion is about having that understanding for another, and I agree with you as far as we don't know the reasons why. I don't know the reasons why anybody does anything.
Right.
I'm still
never
working
go.
on figuring out my own.
Why I
Yeah.
do
Okay,
everything.
Yeah.
like
Right.
you know when
Worry
people
about
say
yourselves.
when I right, worry about your own self.
Worry about your own
Um,
self.
when I go to speak and people are like, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, I say, me neither, because you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But
Guys, this is true.
This
I
is
just want you to
true.
know. Sitting
I
on
mean-
the soap with her for 3 years, I'm telling you.
you just don't know. And
Which
truth,
is why it's
true,
fun.
doesn't know.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
really, and I mean, sometimes he'll just laugh at me. I
I
come in here singing, you're like, I don't know what Reverend Jeannie's going
wish
to
we
say.
could have a cameraman who would just flash on
The true when he
He's
says
got
that,
the
yeah.
funniest smile right now. So cute.
But I do have some words of Ernest Hopes. I can
What
tell
you
you
got?
what he said.
Ernest, what do you bring it?
So, This is from, let me say, this is from his mysticism class, number 5, in July 1957. And he says, all of God's efforts are directed to reproducing himself. Aurobindo says, creation exists for the delight of God. There isn't any difference, is there? I believe this. There is no cause or purpose in creation as theology explains it. Ady says purpose is contradiction, mathematically and logically. Therefore, it would be spiritually a contradiction. He is saying the same thing. All of God's creation is to delight God. All that nature can do comes to an end with the making of form, color, and being. Thus, the work of nature ceases, but as it does so, it reappears in the work of the intelligent soul. This is quite a remarkable saying. The ancients said that nature unaided fails. Quimby has explained this better, more on the line that the Father hath life within himself. So hath he given it to the Son to have life within himself. That even a modern social reform that is rightly instituted is not separate from the originating mind, but is merely the continuation of it at its level. So Ernest was just speaking about like everything being God informed, even things we don't agree with, even when we can't see why. You know, again, I can go back to my own life here, and as I'm sure most people can, and find a thing that seemed so crazy bad, you could not see the outside of it, or the purpose to it, or the why to it. You know, the first time I had cancer, couldn't see it until I got sober. You know, the second time I had a heart attack, couldn't see the why to that until I got diagnosed early enough with cancer. You know, and that's a health thing, but again, you know, it's a health thing. It's a scary thing when somebody says the C word to you in reference to your body form. It's not something you go, well, give me a shot, I'll be better. Like, that's not how that goes in your head. Trust me. You know, so here's the thing. With all that has happened this week, this month, this year, the last decade, when we look at it from whatever our perspective is, and if you're watching us, I'm assuming you have a bit of a perspective of love and compassion. No matter where you sit in politics or religion, you have love and compassion. That I am going to make an assumption with. So with that, pour more into this world. Wherever you see a place it is lacking, that's your job. That's what you do. You pour in love and compassion. We're not getting out of this without it. It's not going to happen. Remember the people who, in spite of losing their lives, Martin Luther King, Anne Frank, or their freedom, Gandhi, you know, looking at that, they still went with love and compassion. And they had nothing to gain and everything to lose, right? And that's where we make the difference.
That's where we speak from our true self. That's when we know we're walking in the peace of knowing my true self. That's when we're doing that. We needed it this week for sure.
Yes. Yes. You know, I just am feeling in this silence, like to just honor that silence to those whose lives were cut short. We've lost senators and governors, political pundits. We've lost children, mothers and fathers. And when I think of where we are in the month of September and who we were on September 12th, 2001, when I think of who we were, yes, were there people that were angry? Absolutely, but not that part. The people that called their family, that called their friends, that were nicer and kinder, that opened up the doors for others. Who we were on September 12th is who we are as truth, as our true self. And that piece of knowing, because we didn't know that day what was going to happen after that. Our country was under attack for the first time in a very, very long time of modern history. And we did not know what would happen. So because we didn't know that, we took that love and that compassion for other human beings and gave it everywhere. And I find it hard to believe that those people don't still exist. I know that we do. I know that we do.
I agree, and I love that sentiment, and I would love to see us not need a catastrophe or a horrific act to remember our truth.
Absolutely.
Can we intentionally lead with that? You know, my husband and I sometimes, if you ever text somebody and it comes across and you're like, what do you mean by that? You know,
Yeah.
it comes across, what's the heart? What? And you have a choice to come back like, well, I don't know, with that same tone that you're perceiving it to be. And we've taught each other a long time ago that always assume it's good. Always assume my tone is good.
The written word has no voice inflection.
Thank you.
Right? The written word has no voice inflection.
Right.
My ex-husband used to say, if there's two ways you can take something, assume I meant the good one.
Yes, please. Please. So can we lead with that? Can we move with that? And I think that for a long time we've been unconsciously moving.
Yes.
We've been moving by default. We've been victim mentality for too long. And these things wake us up. But please, please, please don't go back to sleep. Please stay awake to your truth and who you are and the power that you have, and wield it wisely. Use it wisely. Don't use it to create more of the things that we are so sick of seeing and experiencing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I would like to sometimes I just want to act like it's not happening. Just move about my day and act like that's not what happened. My husband's there going, did you hear about this? I'm like, I just wanted you to happiness. Like, I don't want to listen to it. But it does happen. And we are responsible for it. This is all of our jobs. This is not just one person, one department, one state, one country, it's
Right.
all of our job to remember what we are. We are God in a human form, that we have all the power we need to change it, to make the outcome different, make the experience different. So please don't forget, please don't go back to sleep, please stay awake, and please lead from love as much as you can. I'm not asking anybody to be perfect. It's a practice, and you've got to remember.
Absolutely. I love that. We can do this.
We can do it. Together we can do it.
Together we can do it.
We can do it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. You know what it reminds me of? I'd like to buy a world of Coke. I'd like to buy the world of Coke. First things come and me.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember the next line, but yeah, you know.
We didn't have music on the soapbox.
We do. We've been,
alluding to
well,
that. We're working
yeah.
on it.
you know, we sing, but, you know, for some of us, that's not as musical as it is for others. So.
Oh my gosh. So crazy.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's figure this out.
Yeah, all right, I will do that. Right, or you'll do that.
I know. Oh, breathe that in. Recognizing one power, one life, one love, one source. Recognizing there's only one. It is love. It is the connection. It is the joy. It is peace. We are each that perfect, unique manifestation, that perfect creation of the one. We are each that love. We are each joy. We are each peace. And from my truth, from my place of knowing my truth, I speak my word for all of us. That as we allow ourselves to anchor into our truth, as we allow ourselves to remember over and over, in every breath, in every experience, in every situation, that we are love. Our truth is love. That as those moments arise, that we see needs love, that we are the giver of that love, that we are the sharer of that love. We are the ones that take up that role, that job, that calling. We fill that void. We begin from within, recognizing our truth, remembering who we are, and we share our love with the world. One person at a time, one situation at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. We move in confidence of that. We move boldly. And I'm grateful for our oneness. I'm grateful for knowing that everything I do affects everyone else, that I have that power, that I can do something about it. I'm not helpless. I'm a child of God, and I possess all I need to create a ripple effect of love. And as my ripple combines with yours, our experience changes toward what we want to be experiencing, toward that life we love for all of us. And so as I rest in that truth, I release anything unlike it. And I move in gratitude. So I let it go, know and trust that it's already been done in the mind of God. And so I let it go. Auntie Mary say. And
So it is. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. It's been an amazing talk. I just have, I've not cried this much on the sofa.
I know.
You know, so yes, definitely an amazing talk.
And if you felt connected with us this morning, if this helped you move through last week, we'd love for you to be part of this community. We'd love for you to join us in person. We'd love for you to continue watching us online if you're not local. We'd love for you to spread the message, invite visitors, let people know that we're here, spreading this message of love, unity, of peace, and of our truth. And you can do that in so many ways. You can also like and subscribe to this YouTube channel on Begin Within Ministries on YouTube. Also, we have the Sofa Sundays Facebook group and Instagram page. So wherever you are, please like it, comment on it, share it. It lets the algorithms, powers that be, know that we're here, and it will also share that so that we can get more eyes on what we're trying to share out into the world to create a life that we love and to help all of us be inspired to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And if you feel financially able and would like to support us financially, go to beginwithinministries.com. You can do a one-time donation, or you can become a Spiritual Church Club partner. What's that, Reverend G? Well, let me tell you. Being a partner with us means that you help us bring this message to others, and you get some interesting and neat things. One, you get the coffee mug.
We love our little mugs.
Okay, yeah, you got that side. There we go. You also get, at the first of the year, we do our journals.
Yes, a year-long journal.
Our year-long journal
Yeah.
for all our topics, as well as the cards in person and
then our workshops.
And our
We have
workshops.
workshops coming up at the end of September that our Spiritual Church Club partners get for free, and others will contribute on their own.
Right. There will be a fee if you're not part.
I know.
So, you want free class, come on in.
Yes.
And so that's how you can, did I say that part already? $45 individual, $75 for a family. Okay. So that's how you can financially support us. And I wanted to give a little plug about next week.
Okay.
Because Michelle's gone. She's going away. She's going away. She's going bye-bye. To celebrate, because this is the month to celebrate her queendom.
Yes. My queendom birthday.
Her queendom
And my husband's
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, so I have a special guest next week. Christine Tulk is my guest on the sofa next week, which I'm very excited about. Christine is, one, she has chickens. I watch her every morning on the chicken feed. It is an amazing thing, but she's also a trained Unity teacher.
Yeah.
And has some amazing experiences. She comes from the area of New Mexico where there were some sightings. And I'm just going to say,
It's going to be good.
Christine is great. And I love when she's on the sofa.
Yes.
And also, it's the fall equinox that day, the 21st of September. So we are going to bring our drums. So if you're in the area, come have a drum circle with us afterwards. So that's the fun for next week.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
So we love you all. Thank you so much for being with us today. Our hearts are with everyone, and if you need prayer, feel free to reach out. Don't ever stress about that. Reach out to us if you need any type of support, but we're here for you.
Yes. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.